Let's fucking go! Oh man, who else feeling good? Good to be back. Yes, yes. Y'all and Johnny Boy be ballin'. Corked Stats, second half. Fastest freaking show on MLB, absolutely anywhere. With your boy. With your fucking boy, yo. Did you miss me? Did you miss me? Don't answer that shit. Good to see usual suspects up in peace. Yo, Adonis up bright and early. Mi gente. B Rose, baby. No block. GL. Doesn't work for me, brother. And the nose knows. Good to see everybody. Hope you all, refreshed, recharged, because, it's only going to get a little bit crazier from here. Baseball's version of 300. Give the book nothing. Take from that bitch everything.
This is Sparta!
Take from that motherfucker everything. Holy crap, man. I haven't slept 7 hours on the road. Who gives a shit? I hadn't slept for 3 days. I stayed up. Did the Source Network stream with my guys, Kyle and Toasty. Shout them out, plus TV Jones. The scientist Jacob. And the Spoon Man. Love that crew, man. Really getting some motion, really feeling good. So I've gone over the games already today, feeling pretty good. Though I do think, right, we should be pumping the brakes. If you happen to be listening to the show, you heard the running theme I was laying down was during the break, I take a step back and I tend to see these teams in their totality, right? A lot of injuries are being refreshed, right? It's a hard reset. It's a hard reset. So L7s are very flawed because there's days missing and 14s and 30s. So I think heading into the break, I want to be looking at two things, right? Overall, what the team is and how we think they might perform in the second half. I was kind of answering my boy Frankie while I was away about Vlad Guerrero. I'm in the fantasy streets. And, do people really think Vlad Guerrero sucks? I mean, great players can have bad halves. We've all seen crazy first and second half splits. So let's not overreact to what we've seen. I think I want to lean into the talent level. Sometimes I take it a little bit easy on this first day. But I got to be honest, there's a couple of plays that I really, really like. Well, we're not going to get to the meat. We're yapping my big fucking fat mouth. Follow me up on Twitter at John the Gazer Flow. Show up under the damn razor. Same handle over on Substack. $2 a week. Get your 5 bits of shit in a 2-pound box, yo. Let's show them what the fuck we do, baby. Me and you, the Corked Stats crew.
What is your profession?
Best part of waking up. Piping hot pitching sheets in your mug, bro. All right, it's only 15 games. Yo, I saw a doubleheader today, and I was like, oh, fuck. Remember, all the MLB templates are all set for 30. Fangraphs is the same thing. Yeah, it's just as a fucking pain in the cock. But it turns out the Mets and Phillies who played yesterday are not playing today, so the doubleheader still fits in. Remember, that's the only game early if you're doing kind of fantasy stuff. Make sure you set it. So I guess we could do, we'll double back for the doubleheader. Because the back end one, I'm not sure all the information is up. Maybe we'll get a little more info. We could do them all at once. So let's start with the 7:05 p.m. It's the Trolley Dodgers coming to town, visiting the Boogie Down to face my boy, Garrett Nat King Cole, and the Yankees. Yanks are minus 103. Yo, massive fucking disrespect. Massive disrespect. I mean, Sasaki just hasn't been good. Through 81 innings, I mean, there's really nothing to sink your teeth into. There's a little bit of swing and miss, but he's really even run lucky, if anything. I don't know. The misses have all been punished. It just hasn't come along. Entirely too many home runs, 19 Shamalama ding-dongs through 81 innings. Big struggles to lefties. How do you not like Grisham and Rice today? Big struggles versus righties. How do you not like every fucking Yankee today? He's also been terrible on the road. Roki with a 6.25 ERA, 144 whip, single-digit KBB. Not a road warrior. Forget the Hawk and Animal shit and the spike shoulder pads. And Garrett Cole, I mean, gosh, this is frustrating me because whenever I find myself in a position where I'm backing the Yankees, I feel like I have to do like a extra job to show that I don't give a fuck what jersey they're wearing. Garrett Cole, good at baseball, right? He had the slow start. This is the season now for him, right? This is the season. You're going to get, 25 fucking innings in the spring, 30 innings. You got to give this, the fucking fig time to ripen on the tree, man. Cole's been really great the last couple starts. The velo is there. The four seam is there. The command and the control is there. He's getting ahead. I think Garrett Cole is going to be fine. 2, I think 3 of his last 4 starts, he's been fucking really great. So I'm throwing away the season-long stuff for Cole. I don't know. You got to give me the fucking Yankees today. I'm really kind of in shock. Now, year to date, fair enough. Dodgers offense certainly better than the Yankees without Aaron Judge, but the Yankee bullpen has been a carrying tool the entire year. I mean, Yankees one of the best bullpens in the league. Also, something I wanted to mention, Kyle very astutely pointed out: be careful with all of the rested bullpens with like overs, right? A lot of times we're looking to get those late runs because we have a hunch or an inkling or a pretty good assertion that guys are going to be missing. So I think it's wheels, right? It's wheels up for all the bullpens. I think you're getting the best of everybody today. I don't know. The total was at, 9, which I feel like might be a little bit high. You could see I kind of have this one coming in. I'm not really even at 5-4. So I'm to the under, but I think the Yankees get the win. I had that last night, -102. They moved to -105, so not much motion in that ocean. Dodgers still getting plenty of respect, though. Sasaki is definitely the guy to go after. Next up, my boy Jared Jones on the bump for that pucko. The pucko's a yar. Jared Jones, you fucker. So, I don't know. He's on the road in Forest City. Facing my other boy, Gavin Williams, and the Guardian. Remember when you see the sun emoji, it's going to be like high 80s, good hitting weather. Not a great hitting environment, and certainly not a great hitting lineup on the Cleveland side, at least, without J-Ram, man. They are fucking donkey balls. Jared Jones, however, not donkey balls. Love these guys with the pedigree and the big arm talent, always waiting for them to kind of show us the big dick player start, right? Once they hang out with the wang out, stick out with the dick out, rock out with the cock out, I think it's fucking wheels up for Jared Jones. How great was he in that last start? It was like, this is the prince that was promised type shit. We saw this guy before the injury. He was incredible, right? He's incredibly good. There's a ton of swing and miss, plus he keeps it down. We're just kind of waiting, for the health and, again, the innings to get there. We saw it. I'm really wheels up on Jones in particular because I think the Guardians are such ass. If I'm not mistaken, Jones's last 30 is super strong. Sub 1 whip, 268 expected ERA. Forget the ERA. ERA stupid with a 22 KBB. Now, I don't want to, misframe, or if it's good for the goose, right, it's good for the gander. Gavin Williams has also been equally good, also pretty good in that building, but I think the offenses are the big difference here. Williams is going to have to pretty much do everything. If you've been riding along with me, hey man, we're up 3.5% ROI, and we're in a little bit of a downswing. We kind of struggled going into the box, but man, I'm giving away the model edge and doing the fucking show. By the time we put out picks, that's why I'm not a pick selling service. The fact that we're up is kind of, not say miracle, but I think it's a testament to the quality of the work that we're doing. Pirates just a much better team. I mean, look at this year-to-date stuff. It is crazy. They are not even close, right? What would be the hang-up? That the Pirates strike out too much. I think Gavin Williams gets a strikeout prop, but I still think the Guardians lose. I don't think they have the firepower at all. The bullpen on the Pirate side, I think with the refresh might even be okay. I think this is the only time that I like them. Refresh Guardians definitely have the better bullpen as well. So I guess I'm to the under. 7.5 felt a little bit low. I was hoping to go 8 or 8.5, but I think in the hot weather, I think Pittsburgh gets enough done versus Gavin Williams. Again, when you're facing the Guardians, it literally feels like once you get 1 or 2 on the board, it should be enough to do it. Hopefully, Pirates offense is enough to win the day. Next up, Anthony. Every kiss begins with K. He's on the bump for the Pale Hose. Plus 113 dog up in Toronto to face Spencer Miles and the Bluebirds. Minus 135 at the crib. Dome should be closed because of the fucking scorched earth going on, right? The world is ablaze right now. I smell it down here. I mean, we are pretty far from Canada. We do share the kind of coast, but man, we're fucking far away from here. So that would probably suppress hitting. I'm really on the under. If you could see, I have the Algo up on the board. I had to take, kind of an L on Anthony K. We got paid fading him, but he started to correct course, and I think we don't want to be stubborn. I do generally fade guys making the move, the kind of import players. There's a lot of changes going on, and again, these guys are such creatures of habit. However, right, but that big sopping wet, shaking anus, When they start to show us improvements, I think we want to listen to them. In particular, and I know I'm kind of an old and I do generally chase all the big strikeout stuff. I think that's how you win in the major leagues. What's the other path, right? What's the other way? The choose your own adventure is soft ground balls, getting double plays, and K's been really great with that, right? He kind of closed out pretty strong. He did close out strong, definitely above average, but I think the winner here is probably going after Toronto versus those lefty splits. I'm using year to date today. I know it's a little bit odd, so I want to scroll over Toronto versus lefties year to date. It's one of the weaker splits on the board anywhere. 940 plate appearances, one shy, but batting just 219 with a 315 slug, 608 OPS, and the balls in the ground, sub 6 barrel, 293 xWOBA only implies like 3.5 runs if you're fucking lucky. So I think Toronto will fall short. I think K gets it done, and I've kind of liked Spencer Miles. I think he's a lot better than these like bullshit kind of starter numbers show. That was sticking out to me here. Let's put a little bit of context on Spencer Miles' name. He deserves it. I've seen this guy pitch. He's fucking good. Again, the starter stuff is weird. He has 60 total innings, 285, 110, ERA whip combo. Again, very good. The starter stuff, when you're bulking and following, things can get a little fugazi. I don't really have the answer for what the best is. Because if I don't use just the starter numbers, the per game prop stuff is fucked. I guess I could have run the full thing and just X those out. I don't know. Sometimes I'm caught. As he starts more games, it'll be a little bit more reflective of the pitcher we're expecting. But I think Miles is significantly better than whatever bullshit we're seeing here. Except the command and the control is so very good. And I think the White Sox offense that we all really like, and I think we should, maybe we put the cart before the horse. Again, now I was trying to get away from using smaller samples. But one thing that I did want to show down the stretch for the White Sox was the degradation of discipline, right? Again, there's a lot of young players. They are high talent, but we kind of knew that that's the book on Murakami, even though he got hurt, he's back, right? That's the book on Colson Montgomery, big power, but you get chase and you get swing and miss. So I think right now we're just in the adjustment period against these kind of younger hitters that maybe are a little bit more inexperienced. I think we will see them correct. I'm bullish on the White Sox offense. I just think, again, that's exactly what's going on. I think of these totals are entirely too high. Toronto also, I think, is going to bounce back in the second half. I do think Toronto gets it done. Hoffman closed out the second half strong in that bullpen. I think he's a carrying tool for that bullpen. A really good Hoffman plus a good Varlin really would change the dynamics of the, kind of late inning outlook for the Bluebirds. So I was way under here. It was 8.5. Now I'm curious to see if it's still there. Yeah, it's 8.5, and it's solid. So we'll see if we get any motion on this one. I'm loving the 8.5 here. Again, Toronto with a slight win, but I wouldn't want to pay the juice. Next up, Cal Quantrill on the bump for the Texas Rangers. Very heavy 170 underdog on the road in the dirty to face the Bravos and my boy Chris Sale. I mean, Cal Quantrill is like the ultimate negative regression candidate. Is anybody actually believing that this guy is a 2.12 ERA, sub 1 whip guy through just 17 innings? I probably more think he's in line with the +5 Sierra, the single-digit swinging strike, single-digit KBB, 23 CSW, poor command, poor control, lack of chase, and too many fly balls. But I think he's been a little bit lucky on the home runs. I think Quantrill gets fucking smoked today. He's had no answers for lefties. We saw Olsen and Harris kind of finish strong, and they're also really talented. So I think the Braves are another kind of get up off the mat scenario here going down the stretch in the second half. Oh, yes, especially if they're going to get El Abusador back. I'm not sure when Acuna will be back. It might not be today. Kyle said he hit a grand slam in the minors, so he's right on the fucking cusp. He's going to be back. So I'm getting ready to get bullish on the Braves. Again, I think Quantrill is not good. I think the Rangers offense is not good. And I hate pushing back against Toast and Kyle when they agree, because again, the 1 + 1 = 3 kind of thing going on. They're obviously very sharp. But when you pull the thread where they were talking about Rangers have posted really good numbers against lefties, and I think this is where that extra layer from the sheet just kind of comes in handy, at least to give you a little bit of extra perspective here. So Rangers, right, have hit for average, but you see like a skyrocketed BABIP, and you see a really high OBP with a very good chase rate, and I guess some walks. But other than that, that's it. Like it's poor zone contact, it's poor elevation, it's not being pulled or hit hard or barreled. Even the expected stats are very poor: 291 x WOBA, sub 340 x WOBACon. Oh, again, just really really poor. Braves bullpen also is, I don't know, an order of magnitude better than the Rangers. Rangers had that good stretch out of the box. I was never really buying it. I didn't think the arm talent was there. So them coming down the stretch and kind of faltering is exactly what I really expected in the first fucking place. So I was getting plus money on the Braves for the cover. Right now it's even money. Yeah, I'm just gonna go, if it's fucking donkey shit, then so be it. I think Texas again going in the wrong direction. As much as I like Langford, I'm not sold on the offense. I don't think I'm scared throwing lefties against them, but I guess we will see. Next up, Sandy Alcantara on the bump for the Marlins. They're on the road in Milwaukee to face Weapon X, Logan Henderson, and the Cheesemakers, minus 149 for the Brew Crew at the crib. That's a little bit heavy. I wouldn't pay it. You could see the model giving me a little bit of nudge because I've got them basically playing to a tie. But I think the play I liked better was the under. Maybe the argument I made last night was a little bit convincing because I said it was going to close at 8. That 8.5 is indeed an 8, and it looks like a hard 8. So I'm probably out. This is really, again, a testament to early bird getting the worm. And sometimes I just kick myself because I could put out these I called it a V1 version of the model. I don't want people getting in trouble based on it. I guess if I put a warning label, it's informed consent, but I run it every night, but it's lacking some pitcher information. It's lacking all bullpen information. So I don't feel good about the full game stuff whatsoever. You could get late game injuries and stuff, or weather and everything like that. So you can see why I'm a little bit kind of reticent on putting it out early, but fuck me. It's not often enough to jump on the CLV and prediction markets like I was hoping for to start the year. Obviously, betting markets are very sharp. And when we think we've identified a play for a half-run close, right, CLV positive close, are you really going to flip that for fucking a couple percent? I don't think that's wise. Even as I'm like a total pussy. I think when you beat the market on a half-run on a total, I think you have to play that shit. I think it's a very strong sign that you're doing something right. So what's the flip side of that? When you're in front of these markets, but you didn't get the play out, I think you got to leave it. If I had to go the other side, it's probably Marlins. I like the Marlins run line, but again, it's juice to the fucking cock. So I think I'm just out on these guys. I think they're both really good on a per inning basis. Sandy coming down the stretch really strong. Sandy coming down the stretch strong is what we're looking for. I think the strikeouts will tick up. A little bit worried about the road stuff, right? Henderson, big time power pitcher. Well, he's healthy. That's my kind of guy. I love the high arm talent guys. I was talking about that before. It's really more about the offenses. We were talking about this in a little more detail last night. They both kind of struggled down the stretch. And I know the Sauce guys are a little more bullish on the Marlins than I am. I think Kyle asked me which I'd be more worried about. So if I have to pick one, I think I'm more worried about the Marlins than the Brewers for the lack of track record. Though I didn't mean to make it sound like the Marlins are bad. I just think it'd be easier for me to shrug off I don't know, Liam Hicks is not a fucking crazy all-star, monster hitter, and maybe Jacob Marcy, goes back to mean or whatever. Again, I think Otto Lopez is here to stay. I think Xavier Edwards is good and here to stay. I think a guy like Stowers is very good, but a guy like Stowers also is going to have, inherent flaws with the swing and miss. So if Hicks and Marcy are meh and Stowers is kind of down trending, or at least then Lopez and Edwards are, I don't think, the type of bats that can, carry an entire offense. Anyway, I didn't mean to crap on the Marlins. I think their futures are probably pretty strong. Kyle was saying he heard on a presser or something that they're talking about moving Hicks, which I think would probably be a good move. I'd be selling high on that and see what they can get. So my beef with the Marlins down the stretch, just to put a bow on it, would be needing a little bit too much from Jansen Junk and Tyler Phillips. I think at 2 kind of dead slots is a little bit rough. And not to kill Junk. I don't know. I guess he's a good 4, but I think Milwaukee's pitching is better. And I think the bullpen is better in Milwaukee also. Stats really kind of bear that out. So Yeah, I'm probably on the fence, even though I wouldn't be surprised if this one ends whatever fucking 3-1 or something. Next up, Bailey Ober on the bump for the Twinks. They're on the road as plus 114 underdogs. It's going to be hot, and it's going to be windy, and they're in fucking Wrigley. You don't know what that means. Yeah, exactly. The total is at 10.5 with good reason. I, juice the model as you have to, but I'm just right there. I guess I got both teams to 10. Excuse me. I guess I have both teams to 5, which gets me to 11, right? 5 plus 5 is 11, but I don't know. What I do know is you could not pay me to lay minus 142 on Colin Rea the way he's been pitching. And though last night I was in full agreement with Kyle that the Twins are likely an offense that, are going to kind of come back to earth a little bit, but I'm only curious about the year to date. Let's see Twins. Twins year to date versus righties was pretty strong. Shit ton of home runs, man. Shit ton of home runs. Lots of swing and miss, but, good elevation, good pull. And I think they're a testament to how you can produce home runs without lots of barrels. If, again, you're elevating pulled batted balls, that's going to get you there. Twins started speaking about that probably about 2 years ago. But again, without Buxton, I'm just not really scared of them. Cubs offense is a tremendous fucking anomaly. I mean, and you'd think I'd be all over it. Here I am pumping like totality, fucking half, year to date stuff. And the Cubs, like objectively, one of the best offenses, like straight up. But if you notice, it's a little bit slanted lefty righty, right? So look at the righty stuff. Let's take a mental snapshot. Production is okay. Discipline is fantastic. Elevation is fantastic. Power is kind of mixed. It really is mixed. That ex-WOBA is being carried by the high walk rate. Remember, that's what ex-WOBAcon is, your pure damage metric. One incoming message, right? One of the mistakes that young analysts make, I think, is using ex-WOBA to describe, like, I call damage, right? Power, damage. And, right, because when I say damage, I mean launch velocity, right? Launch angle plus exit velocity, right? The whole shebang. Which, things like X slug would reflect that also. I like X Wobacon because it's just on contact. But it tells a totally different tale. And the Cubs are a really great example of how the two of them matter next to each other. The X Oba includes the on base for walks, where the straight up power stuff has not been good. Now it's flipped lefties. Is it really that strong? They've just murdered lefties all year. So I think I'm pumping the brakes on the Cubs offense here. I'm not betting this one. It's a little too wild for me. If I had to, I probably think Ober is the better pitcher here. Twins bullpen, though the season long was rough, I think getting Yendrys Gomez into a good spot was really great for them. But I can't back Ober in this environment, right? He's throwing the low velo fucking four-seamer. We know this guy has had home run issues in the past. And if I'm not mistaken, despite the case against the Cubs versus righties, I think the home stuff is really strong. Cubs at home are ridiculously strong. Again, hat tip, thanks Toasty. I don't know what, I was long overdue getting home and road splits. The year-to-date stuff, Cubs are just significantly better home, like the second best home team by WRC plus. So for me, it's just a fucking fade. Whatever. Next up, El Rey, Michael King on the bump for the Friar Tucks, minus 112 on the road against Kansas City and Seth Lugo. It's going to be hot, and the wind's going to be blowing out, but I still don't understand this price. King, I think, is the significantly better pitcher in this matchup. 341 ERA with a 115 whip. Yeah, the indicators have not been great, but King has been more of a trajectory guy. You know what? Let me table that for a second. We'll get back to it. I want to get Lugo because I think he's the fail point here. 456 ERA with a 143 whip on Seth Lugo, who I do think is really good. Kyle posed the question to me, like, what is the bull case for Seth Lugo? And it's just, he's shown us he is a good pitcher. I don't think he's a bad pitcher. I don't know if it's, the ball this year. Maybe he's hiding an injury. Maybe it's just over for him, right? The velo gets down below 92 and you can't get anything past anybody. That's been reflected in the disciplinary stuff. So I couldn't really give him a data backed answer. It's just, I think Lugo is good and I think he's better than, what, Michael King. I mean, and the price is not even there. So it's weird to take this kind of a leap of faith on Lugo without getting a really good price. I think you got to be out. Single digit swing and strike. Lugo's been whacked, man. Too many home runs, just killed by both sides. It's been really brutal. Even at home, you're not really getting a lot of love. And he really stumbled down the gate. The King stuff that I wanted to get to was interesting. Toast is a big Padres guy. I was waiting to see if he mentioned it. They were mentioning mechanic stuff. I guess I heard something in line with that, but it was more about the arsenal and the deployment. They were like throttling slider use to the point where he dumped it, and I never like to see that. Usage up, usage down is fine, but I don't think you want to be totally pulling pitches. Because I think there's a lack of confidence there. And then I think there's a kind of lack of repetition and efficacy through sequencing. That sounded a little bit too smart. But that shit matters, right? You want him out there working on these things in real time. We all know spring training is stupid and AAA rehab is fucking stupid. You got to get these pitchers out there in, actual kind of live gameplay. So then they mentioned King leading with the changeup. That's what I was looking for. I've always felt like that's when he's at his most effective, and we've seen that the last couple starts, and I think King has gone wheels up since then. So, again, just to maybe a little bit of the nuance and the context that you get. Roll with us. That'll be a good time. Don't be a cheap bitch, your whole life. Support good people doing good work. $2 a week. Get your 5 pounds of shit in a 2-pound box, baby. And if you sign up for the whole year, you get the last month for free. There's that like dead month. I work every day for you guys. I always put out something every single day, but you know what I mean, between football and baseball. But remember, if you haven't checked out the Twitter handle and the Substack, there is. The football stuff is fucking hot and heavy. I'm going to do a full-on ranking update either today or tomorrow. I did them before I left, but I kind of just like to clean it up. Uploadable, color-coded shit for baseball and for DraftKings, plus all crazy fucking data. All the baseball data that you love, we have for football. Going forward, it's going to get even better. I don't like to go back and redo it. I improve it going forward. Plus, I think the differential stuff, I should probably put that like on its own. If you're doing any kind of handicapping, any kind of fucking betting, any kind of NFL betting, and you are not using this for fucking $2 a week, I'm sorry, not smart, yo. You're not valuing your time. I don't know where else you're getting conditionally formatted EPA per dropback differentials, success rate stuff, and then all the, again, granular shit that really fucking matters in football. So you can tell I'm really getting into it. I've been drafting best ball teams around the fucking clock, and I cannot wait to climb those fucking reception ladders. All right, sorry for shaking my fucking hoo-haws, but it does help me keep the fucking lights on. Appreciate all the new subs. It really means the fucking world to me. I am working my ass off to save you $2 worth of time every week. On to the offenses in the San Diego and Kansas City game. Sorry about the fucking tangent there, but again, I got to do this shit. I'm literally a one-man band. No producers, no editors, no promoters. No fucking clippers. I got so. Man, Royals have to be the better offense here. They've been supremely disappointing. But again, from our macro view, this is the type of profile that we'd want to believe in. The Royals just haven't produced runs, but they don't strike out. They don't swing and miss. They win in zone, right? And when I say win in zone, it's not just zone contact. It's lift plus pull plus hard hit. You're winning in zone. The talent is there. I think Vinny P might even be returning. But that said, how could you bet on this fucking bullpen? This is one of the spots, and this is when I get a little bit of confidence. I know the San Diego bullpen did hiccup down the stretch. I was talking about this, so I'm not going to back off it. Like 2 weeks before the break, I was saying the Padres bullpen needs the break worse than anybody. I think they're really talented. I even think they're returning an arm. So I think Padres are severely mispriced. I don't think the market is on the King adjustments. I think they're a little too low on a Padres offense. That's maybe more talented than we got out of the beginning, right? Tatis had that ridiculous fucking cold run. So I was just shocked that the Padres were down at minus 112. That price is still pretty much available. Let's go get them. Next up, Dean Krispy Kremer on the bump for the Orioles. Blackbirds and orange vests are pretty much even money. It's minus 110 both ways. They're down in Houston to face my boy Peter Lambert and the Stros. This is another one, man. I just got a bit of a misprice here. Now, I have gotten habitually whipsawed by Dean Kremer. I was fading him like off the bat. Was kind of brutal to start. He made some corrections. Is especially good at the crib, right? So I'm a little easier to fade him away. But this year, man, that four-seamer is a massive issue. Again, I don't want to go too far off the tracks. I want to keep a good pace here. But man, I saw this yesterday and I was like, this is fucking barf. I'm not sure what's going on. Baltimore has been pretty good with like pitching R&D stuff. This is like an adjustment, a long overdue adjustment, and I feel like they're slowly getting it. Like every year, Kramer is throwing the four-seamer just a little bit less. But I don't know. He came out and featured it in the last start, and he can't be throwing this pitch north of 25% of the time. And if he is, I'm going to be fading it. So the four-seamer is sitting 93. I mean, it's very poor extension, very poor spin, doesn't generate whiffs, and it has a 740 X-Lug, 1,000 output. It's just 5 home runs. It's been a disaster. It's been an absolute disaster. They have the split finger there. They just must not have the confidence in it because that pitch is really good. But there must be games where he's like, yo, Skip, like, don't got it. And then there's nowhere else to go. So I think the market's a little bit hot on the Orioles where maybe they shouldn't be. I think they're maybe a little bit cold in the Houston bullpen, which we know what happened, right? Houston bullpen, we know what happened. Hader came back, put everybody back in their slot, and then they were unhittable. So I'm counting, Lambert is one of my kind of undersung pitchers that no one else is into. And again, I see the Kramer disciplinary stuff. Some of it is popping off the page. But again, if you're not inducing chases against the Astros, I really think they're going to fucking punish you because that's been their hang-up, has been the disciplinary stuff, which I think they even cleaned up down the stretch. When they're at full strength, they were really injured. So this Houston lineup was finally, putting Voltron together, right? When you're getting Pena, Alvarez, Paredes, Walker, Altuve, it's not a lot after. I like Cam Smith. I know people go hot and cold. I kind of like Yonder Diaz. People are hot and cold on him. I'm not to pitch him as stars, but that was kind of the point is they absolutely need those top 4 guys in the fucking lineup. Jeremy Pena especially. I think Jeremy Pena is a fantastic ball player. So yeah, I think Houston is really underpriced. Model is like pump the brakes, but we do have them as a clean win, and they're at home. It has a tightening up in the bullpen. Again, maybe model is telling me to pump the brakes on my love for the Astros. Again, the model, very clear, right, is set full season, and you can see why it wouldn't love it. But I think Houston gets it done today. I think the Baltimore offense is so disappointing, and you just need for them to run hot. Because when they go cold, it's really cold, and it's all the worst stuff, right? It's all the strikeouts and all the whiffs. They put the ball on the ground, and I don't know. I'm just dying waiting for Jackson Holiday to fucking break out, man. Who the hell is next, yo? Brady Wedding Singer on the bump for the Red Legs. They're minus 105 in the altitude to face Gabriel Hughes and the Rocks. I don't know. I'm out. I think the Rockies win. I have a hard time trusting their bullpen. But it's not like I trust the Reds to get critical outs either. Singer also, if I'm not mistaken, he's having like a tale of 2 seasons already, right? His L30 is probably very strong. Okay, so it's strong on the surface. 283 ERA, 112 whip. But it's still like a 468 expected and a 4 Sierra. 15 KBB is good for a Singer. Like, we'll take that all day for him. But he's also been gross on the road, really good at home, which is weird. Maybe he's getting some of that morning nookie when he's sleeping in his own bed, who knows? Gabriel Hughes is the real mystery box here. We've just gotten a handful of innings. He has dominating type stuff. And he shut the fucking Dodgers down, if I'm not mistaken, his last time out. So Hughes is a topside pitcher. Are we really looking to bet on pitching in Coors? Nope. Survey says absolutely not. So I do think Colorado wins because I think they have the better offense. Though, and I made this case yesterday just because I was bringing up the running theme. I have the Reds pegged as one of the teams I think can be really good down the stretch. They're dying for bullpen help. And I don't know, Mets were talking about selling. And man, could you see Devin Williams go to Cincinnati? I know somebody's going to roll their fucking eyes. Try as you might. He's a closer. And the Reds need anybody they can get their hands on. So who knows what the hell is going to happen there. Mets have shown, they'll buy on low prospects and try and stack up that way. See, I think the Rockies win, but if we're banking on pitching in Colorado, I think you have to prepare yourself to be disappointed. Next up, it's the Iceman, Troy Melton, on the bump for the Tigres. They're leaving Detroit Rock City, heading down to L.A. Hollywood, always up to no good, to face my boy Reed Detmers and the Halos. A little surprised at the price here. I like Detmers as much as, the next man. But I don't think Melton, who's been a superstar, and the Tigers offense, who I don't think is great, I think is better than the Angels. I'll, bet that the Tigers bullpen is much better than the Angels. This one has a misprice. Everyone's got to be chasing the per inning upside of Reed Detmers, which I would admit is existent in this plane of reality. I would also push he's been really bad as of late, and bad Detmers is really bad. The Tigers have done a really good job against lefties this year. Even though, and I didn't think that would be the case, that's an early L for me. Generally thinking of the Tigers' best bats as left-handed, they've been very good, showing really good discipline. They have the best chase rate and walk rate against lefties in the league. And then they put the ball in the air and they hit it hard. And that's how you get there with free passes. How much do you trust Reed Detmers? I mean, he's found the strike zone, and that's been helpful. But he's been very beatable in zone. His bad days are really bad. Let me see if I can quantify this just a little bit. Okay, we're making pretty good time today. It helps because I already talked about all these today, so I have a little bit of a formed opinion. Plus, I freaking miss everybody so damn much. Toast was making this case yesterday that, we're not saying Detmer sucks. We are saying he's given up 5 earned in 3 of his last 4. He's walked 3 in 3 of his last 4. And I'm afraid that, there's something wrong. I also always worry about the Angels not doing the right thing as far as pitching development. We've seen that happen so many times. Pitchers actually get worse when they go through LA. Meanwhile, Melton's been fucking shoving. This kid is on fire. 182 ERA and a sub-1 whip. I mean, granted, I'm not pumping those numbers on you, but all the indicators in love. You get really good command and control. I think the disciplinary stuff will come along. The left and base has to regress, but he's kept it on the ground with weak hit balls. I'm just not buying. It's the Angels offense too I don't really like. I'm not really sure. I just don't get the price. They strike out entirely too much. I don't get it. And I don't trust the bullpen at all. I think the Angels are one of the worst bullpens in the league. So give me Detroit to kill. And I know I think it came off greedy yesterday, but this is probably a good spot for a blend bet. Let me show off a little bit, right? Let's show the new subscribers, all the new people over from the Source Network. Yo, thanks so much for supporting the channel. We're almost at 1,000 subs, which is really fucking cool. I almost didn't think it would happen, whatever. So I was trying to talk about this yesterday, and I had 2 bad brain farts yesterday happens. One, I kept calling, I had Palante scraped, and it's McGreevy, and then of course I went to make the case for Palante, even though they're very similar. And then when I mentioned the blend bet, I kind of got lost a little bit. It happens to me sometimes. I talk too much, but it really has been super effective for me in my betting career. This is the first time I've really used it for baseball, and I think it's reflective of the sharpening of the books, especially juicing favorites. So in short, and this is a theory I use in football all the time, you should not be betting an underdog to keep it close. I don't know what that means. You're betting on teams that you think can win. Okay, you don't ever bet on a team to lose. That's not how this works, right? That's not how this works. With that, if you think they can win, there's potential for progressive payout, right? If you get that win. So again, you can see I'm kind of talking about a little bit of an inverse. In football, it's getting points plus money line. In baseball, it's juice dog, and the value is the juice to the run line because it's hard to get that, right? So you're getting, I think it was plus 160s out there for the run line. This is a spot where I'd want a chunk of the play on the money line. And again, this great price. So this is even like juice. I'm just trying to take advantage of, again, where I think the blend bet is really strong, kind of putting you in a position where if the base bet hits, it's profitable, but it allows us to kind of add a little bit on to what we think is a strong handicap rather than being like, oh man, I love this strike price, smack the money line. Well, if they go out and win fucking 5-1, it's a little bit of a waste of a cap. We're really, really bullish in this. We have the model. We think we have the analytics. We think we have all the trajectory stuff. So I want to try and maximize it. And again, it might, in this case, it might just be a 10th or 0.15, right? So you're putting 4/5 or 0.85. You got to twist the nip sometimes and figure out, play with the dials and see where the best outcome is. But I'm really getting into these idea of, I don't know, is it a ladder or a step bet? I'm not really sure what the fuck it is, but whatever it is, hopefully it's fucking smart. Probably not, though. Next up, this one sucks, man. I don't even want to break this down. Cade Cavalli and the Nats are on the road in Sacramento at the Gauge. Make you want to jump in the Atleticos. Basically minus 110 both ways. This fucking sucks. I really like Cavalli and I really like Gauge jump, but it's going to be a million degrees with the wind blowing out in like the sickest park to hit in ever. Man, I don't want to bring it up right now. The ballpark, whatever it is, Suter, fucking Health, whatever fucking park in Sacramento, has played up like an order of magnitude or more in as far as rate stuff. So I want to shout out my guy Johnny Anderson. He does a great job at JONPGH. He's at the MLB data warehouse. If you do any kind of like daily stuff, he has the single best Tableau set like in the fucking world. He's also fucking brilliant and eccentric as many quants are. So like dude, like let's say you don't even have to be a bettor. If you're just into baseball numbers and things, stuffs and things, he has things you could get lost for a lifetime in there. Whenever you hit him up and you have ideas, lo and behold, the shit will pop up. He does a great job with park stats. Now I know he does a park factor thing. I'm more into, again, the rates. That's just where I'm curious. Home and a fly ball, home and a barrel, home and a blast. How do the best struck balls perform? And the athletic stuff is ridiculous. So I'd want to back Cavalli and I want to back jump, but it's hard to go in the under in this environment. I didn't promise that I wouldn't do it, but I was saying that I was going to try, to be a little bit more careful. But man, they're tempting the shit out of us with this F5 under 5.5. I think that's a little too high. I wonder, did we push it? I wonder if we push it then. No, it's under 5.5, but it's juiced minus 125. I'm not going to pay minus 125 to go under in this situation. So me and Kyle were both kind of agreeing on this one and a little bit of trepidation about, I think he pulled the trigger because he's a little more courageous than I am. And, yeah, I don't know. I might have liked this at minus 110, but minus 125 is a little bit rich. Again, just a little too many challenging factors. But I think this is a first 5 under. I don't trust the fucking bullpens as far as I can throw. Next up, Michael McGreevy on the bump for the Cardinals. Minus 110 on the road in the desert to face Merrill Kelly. The Snakes with shapes on their back are minus 103 at the crib. I don't know, man. I have the Cardinals to win. But the McGreevy stuff is a little fugazi. Again, I felt a little bit better about it when I thought it was Palante. His command and control is much better. You got to worry about McGreevy. The thing with him is I don't even know how you put this. Like, there are very few pitchers that have a 38 plus ball rate with a sub 6 walk rate. And that's especially scary when you have one of the worst four seamers in the league. Objectively, 74 stuff plus in the four seamer is insane to throw at 25% of the time. It's legit insane. I can't believe they're even using that pitch. So he's falling behind and determined not to walk people. So like we like that part, right? We don't like the free passes, but there's just no put away stuff, and he's getting hit pretty hard, and I think he's been a little bit lucky. I think there's some negative regression coming for McGreevy. I mean, that's reflected. There's almost more than 2.25 run difference between expected ERA and ERA, and almost a run and a half difference between ERA and Sierra. So McGreevy faceplant would not surprise anybody, especially in this spot today. I rolled over to the home and away stuff, and he's been much, much, much better at home, man. And not great at all on the road. So I think I might be backing off my Cardinals bullishness. I still think they win. But I'd be lying if I had the confidence. Model just kind of buying it because we have them, for a clear win, third of a run at a decent price. And it's really Merrill Kelly is the guy I'm not buying into. So maybe we just like the Cardinals team total. That wasn't up last night. It's 4.5 minus 115. Arizona bullpen, they did close out really strong. I will give them their due. But I was kind of calling bullshit on it the whole way. And I don't know if I see them as that kind of pen. But again, we're kind of stacking reasonable bear case data points. So I think I'm off it. But I don't know. Maybe I have developing a thing for the fucking Cardinals. I don't know. I just also, like I said, I know I'm sick of Merrill Kelly. Anyway. Next up, Landon, Loop. You can come too, man. Bring your green hat. They're 130 dogs on the road up in a PN dub to face Bryce Miller and the Mariners. I mean, shit, man. This one's a 3.5, 7 total. This will be the only time I'm saying this today. I've got to allow myself to go under 7.5s and go under 7s. You can bet. Did you know that you can bet under 7? And it's funny, and this is why Kyle is so fucking sharp. Why? Well, I love people who are willing to disagree with me and go up against me. Knowing that it's going to be respectful and stuff. And for him, it comes so easily. I think this is very much the sharpest part of Kyle's game is his understanding of probabilistic execution. He accepts the sharpness of the market. Hello. He understands that once it's there, we shouldn't be too far off from it. And at that point, minus 110 both ways on a total. We're pretty much talking about 50-50 each way. And then, of course, like I've been saying, at least 10% of fucking all games finish with less than 6 runs, yet 0% of any games will ever have a total at 6. So they happen. And he's like looking at me weird. And I'm like, dude, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to me. I'm trying to convince myself and be vocal to me that it's okay to go under 7. So that's where I think I am, not to go. That was a bit of a diatribe, but, not to bury the lead. But we love Roop. We've been on. We've been on Roop. I've been on Roop. Now, I think he is the fail point, and I think Seattle wins. But it's a little bit pricey for an offense I have no faith in. So I think Roop should be fine against, again, the Mariners, who I think suck. And I'm pretty sure Julio has one more day out. At least if he's ready. I think he was on the IL. I don't know if he moves the needle enough for you to want to pay minus 155. It doesn't for me. But the carrier here is, I think, Miller just shoves. Giants offense showed a little bit of life down the stretch, and they're not terrible. But I also think the back end is whack. Arizona, who I like up in front. Not Arizona. Giants, we like up front. Again, whack. Mariners kind of whack throughout. Kyle thinks the Mariners have a chance to be one of the second half bull cases, and I think I tend to agree. I made my pussy face, but I think he's right. Also, there is a documented track record for that ballpark kind of playing up in the second half. Remember the Eugenio Suarez fucking second half? The ball can start to jump there when it gets, when they finally get a little bit of warm weather. I'm not sure if we're quite there though. Anytime you're betting the under full game with the Giants, the bullpen has got to be a concern. Or I would have been on this one. I was really hoping that I don't know, maybe Roop didn't convince people. And maybe the Giants bullpen also convinced people that maybe they stunk. And we'd at least get like a nice 7.5. Like an under 7.5 even money, and we're not. I got under 7 even money. So I know I just went through the diatribe. Price still matters. And maybe we were a little bit late because I think 7.5s might have been available early on. What could you do here? All right. That'll do it for the nighttime stuff. I guess we do the doubleheader really quick if you like. We got Winged Lion Griffin Jacks on the bump for the Rays. This is the first game. Plus 110 on the road against Jake Bennett and the Bo Sox. I don't know. I was really thrown off by the total. I'm assuming it has to do with the weather, which is good but not great. And if you notice, this is another one. Damn, it doesn't happen often that we had 2 in the same night. But we did, where we were under the 8.5. That, again, I like to think people that listen to the show trust me. Look how much, think how much fucking work I'm doing for nothing here, I'm going to lie about it. I'm lying about a price. Look at me. We're in real time, and it was 8.5 straight, and you could get the clip. I said, Kyle, that bitch is closing at 8, man. I said, I might be under the 8. And, it closed, and it's a hard 8 now. So I know I talked the shit that I could consider going under the 8. It becomes very difficult knowing that the 8.5 was out there. I don't know. Maybe the second half I'll put out the V1, and I'll put out like a disclaimer where you get what you get and you don't get upset. Please understand they could wildly change from morning to noon. I may have missed something. I may have found something. Sometimes I do a little bit of digging. The Michael King stuff, when that shit kind of comes up. But man, when the totals are out there, those are the things we want to fucking jump on. With people like Kyle and Toast and TV and Spoonie and Jake on at midnight every day wrecking the fucking markets. You know what I'm saying? You bastards. Because we were joking about it on the way out, but it's the fucking truth. That the new sharpest players are now in the afternoon, literally waiting for first post of the next day. So, all right, that'll do it, man. Get the fuck out of here. You want to be under that one, but it's too late, I think. And they haven't really announced the later one. I also don't think you should be betting second half of doubleheaders until we know, right, who's pitching and what the bullpen stuff shakes out. If we've seen guys pitch twice in the same day, it's not that often. And especially if they give you 20 pitchers or something, they're likely out. So a little bit too many variables. So, all right, that'll do it, man. Good to be back, right? And hopefully it was good to be back. Little shout through the comments, man. How the fuck is everybody doing, man? All my people, yo. Adonis, B. Rose, big shout outs, of course. Jeff L. Jason 924, Mr. Kiddo. Hope you had a good break. Also, Mr. Elfring, appreciate all of your support every single day, bro. See, I feel bad. I really do. I carry guilt sometimes. I just, it's a game we play, and I know a lot of people have spoken about it. They've left me the message. They do, don't sweat it. We want to help push it. Fuck the mainstream coverage of this stuff. We want to be part of the fucking motion, and it means a lot to me, man. It really does. We got Martin 3008. What's up, John? Showing support from Kerms. Huge fan for you, my man. I've been getting so much of this, shout out that entire fucking community. They are awesome, and I hate to admit it, but it's probably the one baseball show on earth that's better than mine. Good to see you, Jay Main and Teet. Everyone with the appreciation tweets. God, you guys are fucking awesome. So I think that'll do it. Martin, you're the best, man. Appreciate you. You too, B. Rose. You're like the OG. You are legit OG, my fucking consigliere. You know what I mean? So I appreciate all you guys and girls out there There is an abridged version of this in the podcast if you want, where I take out some of the ums and ahs and the dead spaces of me looking at the camera like a slack-jawed yokel. And that'll do it, man. Thanks for picking up what I'm putting down here at the fastest freaking show in MLB. Absolutely anywhere. Check out the Corked Stats YouTube channel under the video feed for fantasy football stuff. There's a bunch of round coverages. I went round by round. So it was like player takes with statistics. And then there were best ball drafts. You can kind of go through them. I talk through, you know me, man. I talk the entire time. We're talking strat. We're talking player takes. And I think, if you're a normie, and I consider myself a normie, I have like 100 fucking something drafts. I might be 200 hand drafts on my own right now. And I still consider myself a normie because there's people out there doing thousands of drafts and using so the thing this year is all the fucking what would you call them? Let's call them extensions, right? Site extensions, solvers and sidekicks, and much respect to all people smart enough to do that stuff. But the way we have to play it, right? So I'm going to speak from the layman. If we want to beat the fantasy football intellectual dark web, we're going to have to study their moves closely, which I've been doing, and plan to pivot really hard against them where we're in disagreement. This does not mean I don't agree with anything they're doing. Fucking guys are moving players we like also. But where we disagree, we want to use their influence against them. It's almost like a judo theory, right? There, we want to take their momentum and kind of give the boom, right? I use the bottom of the body weight, low center of gravity, turn the fucking hip, and boom, I could flip a fucking rhino. You know what I'm saying? It's just all about fucking leverage and shit. So there's a couple of takes out there that I don't fucking understand. I don't understand the 4 tight end stuff. I don't understand the fucking Patrick Mahomes stuff. I don't understand that stuff. There's a lot of injury optimism. I don't understand that at all. If you want me to believe in an injury, you got to give me a discount. If not, you're out. There's a lot of people expecting quarterbacks to do things they've never done before. To me, that's another big fucking hang up. Listen, when you hit on the quarterback breakout, it's a fucking huge hit. Do they happen more often or not more often? They don't happen more often. They don't happen more often. And especially with these early fucking pedigree draft picks, they've taken longer to mature. Again, because we don't teach them. We just fucking throw them in the fire. They come from systems that are not adaptive, and it's just too much going on. Plus the fame, the fortune, the bitches and the chains, you know what I'm saying? The dripping asses with the fucking soapy water and stuff. I'd have a hard time learning a fucking playbook that thick also. So we have to kind of be in touch with what the kind of sharps are doing, how they're influencing markets, and us to kind of fucking rebound, yo. Jamie says, John, what are you high on, man? Yo, all I got to say is these edibles ain't shit. Everybody, if you know, you know. Yeah, I love you so much, man. Enjoy the games. Enjoy the day. When we're done with the book, enjoy the pay. And remember, when you work this freaking hard, man, winning feels